Mars will permanently destroy your skeleton. In this video, we reveal the brutal biomechanics of 0.38 gravity and prove exactly why the first generation of colonists can never return to Earth. In a world with 62% less gravity, the human frame undergoes rapid demineralization. Without the constant struggle against Earth's pull, astronauts suffer from severe osteopenia, losing up to 1.5% of their bone mass every single month. But bones are just the beginning. Long-term weightlessness triggers massive fluid redistribution and cardiovascular slowdown. The heart literally loses muscle mass and rounds into a spherical shape. It forgets how to pump blood against a 1G force. To test their endurance, Mars-born colonists are placed in a 1G centrifuge. What used to be a normal, everyday stroll on Earth now feels like carrying a 300-pound weight directly on their chest. Under Martian gravity, the fluid between your vertebrae is no longer compressed. Your spine physically elongates by up to 2 inches. This unnatural stretching causes severe, chronic nerve pain. For Generation Zero, surviving on Mars means constant, painful medical intervention. But this physical mutation is a one-way street. The real danger isn't living in 0.38 G. It's trying to leave it. If a Mars-born human attempts to re-enter Earth's atmosphere, the crushing 1G force would instantly compress their weakened spine, resulting in catastrophic paralysis. This brings us to the ultimate dilemma. If you were born on Mars, what would you choose? Tell me in the comments. Right, stay to live forever in the red dust, or return and risk death to see the blue sky. Gravity isn't the only threat. Mars receives only 43% of the sunlight that Earth does. Over generations, the pupils of Generation Zero permanently dilate, expanding to capture any available light, making their eyes hypersensitive to bright environments. Simultaneously, the use it or lose it biological rule takes over. Without the constant resistance of 1G, the muscular system rapidly breaks down. Colonists lose up to 20% of their muscle mass, leaving their lower bodies unable to support basic locomotion. To prevent total physical collapse, humans must augment their biology. Mechanical exoskeletons become mandatory everyday wear. They are no longer just tools. They function as an artificial external skeletal system. This forced evolution blurs the line between man and machine. To simply walk on the red planet, you must become a cyborg. As we've seen before, ectogenesis protects our future from radiation, but there is a much more brutal reason. Mammalian gestation relies on Earth's gravity. In 0.38 G, fetal bone density fails to develop, and the vestibular system collapses in the womb. Natural pregnancy is a death sentence. To prevent a generational wipeout, colonists must rely on gravitational artificial wombs. These pods spin relentlessly at high speeds, using centrifugal force to simulate a perfect 1G environment during the 9-month cycle. Birth is no longer a biological miracle. It is an automated industrial process. Inside these spinning vats, the human genome develops with perfect Earth-like bone density, safe from the red planet. But the moment they are harvested from the 1G incubator, their heavy Earth bones immediately begin to dissolve, adapting to the crushing reality of their new home. On Mars, architecture itself undergoes a radical evolution. With gravity at only 38% of Earth's traditional horizontal layouts and staircases become completely obsolete. Habitats expand vertically into massive, airy structures. A single, casual step sends a Martian bounding across a room. What looks like superhuman flight is simply the result of adapting to a world that barely pulls you down. To them, physical movement feels entirely effortless. Even everyday furniture is fundamentally redesigned. Traditional chairs are useless when your body weight is so drastically reduced. Instead, Martians use vertical resting pods and tension straps to simply anchor themselves in place. They look like graceful superhumans flying through the air, but this grace hides a terrifying fragility because their bones are so demineralized, one slightly miscalculated landing, and their skeletal frame simply shatters like glass. This biological divergence creates an insurmountable wall. When new crews arrive from Earth, the physical contrast is shocking. The robust, 1G-adapted Earthlings look like biological tanks compared to the elongated, delicate bodies of Generation Zero. A simple, friendly gesture becomes a lethal hazard. Medical simulations prove that the casual grip strength of an Earth-born human is enough to crush the metacarpal bones of a Martian. An enthusiastic hug would easily shatter their ribcage. Because of this extreme disparity in bone density and muscle mass, direct physical contact between the two worlds is strictly forbidden by colony law. Families separated by planets can never embrace each other again. They live in the same colony, but exist in completely different physical realities. Earth and Mars are no longer just two planets. They are two different species. Generation Zero has crossed the biological point of no return. Their bodies have fundamentally and permanently adapted to a world with only 38% of Earth's gravity. The evolutionary umbilical cord has been severed. To these new humans, Earth is no longer a paradise. It is a lethal, extreme high-gravity hellscape. The crushing 1G force of their ancestral home would instantly shatter their bones and stop their spherical hearts. When they stand at the observation deck and look up at that pale blue dot in the night sky, they do not feel nostalgia. They do not feel a longing for home. They feel a deep biological terror. The separation is absolute. Humanity is no longer a single Earth-bound species. We have become two. They have conquered the Red Planet. Generation Zero has built a sprawling vertical utopia deep inside the ancient lava tubes. They are no longer Earthlings in exile. They are the true native sons and daughters of Mars. Because their elongated bones and atrophied muscles cannot handle heavy labor, physical exertion is completely outsourced. Homo Martis provides the intellect, while an army of silicon guardians provides the muscle. But this creates a terrifying paradox. If the humans are too fragile to build, too weak to mine, and too delicate to survive on the surface, who is actually in control of this civilization? Are the humans the masters of Mars, or just the fragile pets of a super-intelligent machine network? Subscribe to Terra Nova Mars and discover the chilling reality of the Silicon Vanguard in our next episode.